Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Maribor in Slovenia and welcome to the opening Mercedes-Benz UCI Downhill World Cup of 2019. The world's fastest riders are once again ready to take it to the very limit, to the very edge of control, and sometimes actually quite a way beyond it. The races are ready, but are you? It's go time here in Slovenia. Let's get into it.
We are back.
So are we.
Stronger.
Oh, look at that!
We're faster.
Absolutely flying.
Downhill
Racing.
No! That's horrible!
8 races.
1 goal.
To win.
To be champion.
I'm number 1.
Huron wins the biggest World Cup of the year!
Not this time.
I'm coming for you.
I'm here to win.
And it's Rachel Atherton!
This is my race.
Absolutely incredible!
In the 19th. It's my year.
Bring it on.
So this is what's coming up in the next 45 minutes. We'll look back at last season's dramatic action. We jump on the merry-go-round and look at all the team changes in the off-season. And we'll also get the wheels in motion. How will the new size regulations affect the racing? And all in the company of a host of amazing guests from the downhill scene. So, thanks for joining me, everyone. Tahnee, Seagrave, how are you?
Good, thank you. Yeah.
Good. You survived that. Greg, how are you?
I'm
The most successful downhill racer of all time, actually on the bubble for qualifying at the moment, so he's a little bit stressed. We've got Claudio Calori, who many of you will know, my co-host on the World Cups, and junior world champion Kate Edwards, no less. Right, we're going to come to you in a little bit, but let's have a look at the calendar. This is where the World Cup stops are this year.
Wow, that's a great step up for the man who started way back.
So we start tomorrow, Maribor, Slovenia. It's going to be a wet one. A couple of classic stops. After that, Loic in France makes a return to the World Cup, I think after an absence of 17 years. Another couple of stops we know before we end up at the brand new venue of Snowshoe in the USA. And also we want your social media questions this afternoon. Please send them in via the chat function on Red Bull TV or via @RedBullBar. We've got some great guests here, so please fire your questions over and we'll do our best to get them to them. The action is already ongoing behind us here, as you can see. We've already had qualification this afternoon. The men's is ongoing. The women's is carrying on as we speak. You can probably hear it behind me. Tahnee Seagrave, 3rd place in qualifying.
That's well placed for the rider.
We'll talk to her about that in a minute. Rachel Atherton, first time out on her own brand of bike. 2nd place a few moments ago in her qualifying run. Already see the wet on the bottom of the course there. But it was Australian Tracy Hannah that took the win. So that's your 3-2-1 from qualifying from the women. Well, how was it, Tahnee? A bit of a rough ride down there with the rain, or did you escape it?
It did start raining when I was in the gate, so for sure I was a bit nervous, but I think I kind of like it. So yeah, it made me push a little bit harder, kind of let the bike do the work towards the end because I didn't want to throw it all away. So yeah, happy with that.
Just 4 seconds off. I mean, I guess you've got plenty left for tomorrow, and we don't really know what the conditions are going to be like tomorrow, do we? That's a big point in question, really, if the rain comes down. How is the track, Greg? I know you've... Greg's had a qualifier he'd probably rather forget, but...
Yeah, it made me push a little bit harder, kind of let the bike do the work towards the end because I didn't want to throw it all away. So yeah, happy with that.
Just 4 seconds off. I mean, I guess you've got plenty left for tomorrow, and we don't really know what the conditions are going to be like tomorrow, do we? That's a big point in question, really, if the rain comes down. How is the track, Greg? I know you've Greg's had a qualifier he'd probably rather forget, but
I'm
And
just hoping, you know,
he's
I'd
just
make
seen
it
someone
in.
crash, so he's pretty happy. How many you got?
yeah.
You need to beat about 15 riders, don't
I
you?
think it's down to about 10, Rob. It's the first time I've actually sat on the bubble, so it's quite nerve-wracking. You know, I kind of wish they'd extended it to 80 again this year. They qualified, but you know, maybe it's just a rain game. I think it's going to dry up, and then I've got time for once I'm down for it to start raining.
Be pulling all that experience, mate. He was the last winner here back in 2010. No pressure. How did yours go, Cade? First ever elite World Cup qualifier for you. Feel any different to the junior ones?
Not really, no. I had a bit of a crash, which wasn't ideal.
Well, how's your? Because what happened with your leg in the winter? You're still getting over was it a broken ankle or leg?
Fractured tib, and then did a ligament, like full tour.
Did you?
Yeah, we won't tell you how we did it, but
Wasn't messing about on bikes then?
no.
But you've, you know, you've recovered. You only got back on the downhill bike, what, earlier this week? So
Yeah.
I guess you're,
4 days ago or something?
yeah, absolutely awesome, mate, yeah. There you are in action, look.
No, that's Reece.
Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Hope Reece's shoulder's all right for tomorrow. Did he survive that?
I don't know, I've not spoken to him actually.
No, no. So, they're still coming down. Greg's still nervously looking on.
I'm getting nervous.
I dodged another bullet.
He's dodged another bullet. Claudio, I think we've got lots to look forward to tomorrow, don't you? With the, it's going to be difficult for everyone now. I mean, literally, these riders, first time you've seen the track in the wet was that quite. It couldn't have timed it better or worse, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, I guess riders had to change their lines for qualifying since you've been practicing in the dry and now it was all slippery. Were you still riding all the same lines? Or?
Yeah, it's too late to change lines. So we're just on the main line. The problem is you're in the woods. The woods didn't really get affected by the rain. And as soon as you came out, it would be like a bike park corner, which is hard pack, and then just hell of a greasy, and then you'd drop back into the woods. So you had really unpredictable corners. So like leading up to the big double, really sketchy. And so trying to estimate or guesstimate where the track is dry or where this rain has got to is pretty tough.
And, you know, you are in a very unusual position this year after being injured last season, that you're not a protected rider. You're not guaranteed a place in tomorrow's final. So I guess that rain coming down just before your run there was pretty horrific for you, because it is a lot more unpredictable, right, once it gets wet.
Oh, yeah, completely. I mean, the first guy went down in the second corner, so that big grass open right-hander was tricky. And I thought I played it pretty good. I rode quite safe and I was quite secure. And I knew I didn't want to push it and crash. And then on a pretty simple corner, I went down. So it's one of those things, you know, you're trying to back off and ride smart, but then you lose a bit of concentration and it can happen.
Remember the last time you were here back in 2010?
I do. It was horrible conditions, just sloppy. But I think it's quite a lot different. You know, the track's been ridden so much now, it's so hard packed that the rain is going to make it really tricky. You know, it's not really sinking in. The rain and the mud, you know. So
yeah, no, that's
super
right.
hard
It's
pack.
that super hard pack, isn't it? That just doesn't let anything, the water doesn't sink in it. You can't get any tyres. Did you have to change? Did you? Hang on, let's have a look at this. So here is Greg back in the day.
Look at a BMX.
Look at the size. Hey, man, when did they start making bikes that fitted you? Look at that thing.
Jeez, Roscop, he was so tight back then. You know, now he's splashed out and made a real mountain bike.
It's unbelievable, yeah. How old are you then, Cade, back in 2009?
9.
You were 9 in
I'm a
2009.
2000 baby, yeah.
Do you remember watching him race, or were you not into it then?
I don't know, just started riding downhill then, so I wasn't that into it now.
No.
But I've watched every Earth about a million times, so I've seen it.
The good old days, mate, wasn't it? Tahnee, did you have to change tyres before your run today or not? You just stuck with the dries?
Stuck with the Magic Marys, so I probably would if it was to carry on raining anyway.
But I mean, you got a little bit of practice tomorrow, I guess, so you can have another go. How are you feeling coming into this season? Confident?
Pretty strong, yeah. I was so nervous, you just never know where to place yourself, and I hadn't really done any fast downhill riding, so yeah, I was super nervous at the top, but kind of proved to myself that I still have it. So yeah, it's good to know that I'm a lot stronger than I was. So
I was speaking to Rachel actually earlier in the week about you and saying, you know, that you really, like you said, you said there, you haven't really gone that fast this year. I mean, noticeably at that British National, you were a little bit behind. And she said, you've got to watch Tahnee. She had absolute respect for her. She said, she's a racer. She's a lot like me. And she's in a corner, she'll pull out the best. And, you know, we've seen you do that many times.
I just like to wait until the last run. Like, I don't want to put myself in any danger before that. And
Why would you?
I know how fast I can ride, so I just wait until I have to.
Yeah, well, that's right. Save it for tomorrow. All to play for. So while the calendar has had some small changes. The rider roster had a major shake-up this winter. Here's some of the big team news from the off-season.
As is tradition, the downhill off-season has been full of big-name team changes, and here are the ones that you need to know about. Gwin joins Intense Factory Racing. The 5-time overall title winner has moved to one of the most iconic brands in the pits. Given that both hail from California, it seems to be the perfect fit. Gwin will be joined by former teammate from his time at YT, Nico Mulally, and the Australian Jack Moyer.
It's pretty cool to be on the same team as Aaron. Just awesome to see like how he goes about everything and his training and approach to the race, and he's always happy to help out as well, so that's pretty cool.
Meanwhile, the Athertons have launched their own bike company. The first family of downhill have decided that after having ridden for just about every big brand, that it's time that they stuck their own name on their race bikes.
Me and my family have got a lot of experience, we've done a lot of racing, so we know what the bike needs to be and we know what the bike needs to do, so so far it's feeling good. It's still a work in process, but it's feeling fast, and I'm enjoying doing that.
Arguably the most exciting lineup in the pits this year belongs to the new look Trek Factory Racing squad. Cade Edwards is now joined by Reece Wilson, Charlie Harrison and Ethan Chandro for one of the fastest collections the sport has seen for a long time.
The new team that we've got, I think the average age is 20 and a half. A lot of diversity between all of our personalities and riding styles, and it certainly is interesting. We're always laughing and making jokes and messing with each other.
It's been pretty scary how well we've all bonded from like the first 24 hours. It was a little bit disturbing how quick we all got on.
And finally, Matt Simmons is back once again on the newly rebranded Cannondale team. One of the most iconic race teams of the 90s is back with a brand new prototype machine, and it'll be interesting to see how they get on this weekend.
We're doing some crazy stuff, and we all do it for going fast on track. We are here to test stuff on the highest level of the sport, and well, that's UCI World Cup, isn't it?
Well, Cade, you are part of that new Trek Factory Racing team there. What's it been like for you, the transition to that team and a new bike to ride?
Yeah, it's sick. I love it. Everything about it's perfect, to be fair.
Is it a pressure that you find, consuming, or is it like everything's clicking and you're glad to be on this new team? Because it is, really a big factory ride for you.
Yeah, it's a big deal, isn't it? But everyone's pretty chill. Everyone's like super nice. Don't really feel too pressured.
And you're getting on with the new bike all right? I guess you haven't had that much time on it though. Where did you hurt your ankle? Was it on?
It was after team camp.
It was after it, was it?
We're not going to get into details, let's be honest.
I might just ask Tom. You're going to spill the beans on what he did?
Go on.
I mean, he sent a backflip over a 45-foot double, but then broke his foot on a swing in a playground.
Did you really? It's out there now. What, a kids' playground, was it?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Let's just move on. We don't need any more of that. Tahnee, what do you think about Rachel this year coming into 2019 with a new bike? Is that going to be an advantage for you because she's got to get used to it, or especially in the situation she's in where they can adapt that bike and change it so quickly? Do you think she's going to be even faster?
I mean, they've got so much experience. They've ridden, as they say, pretty much every brand out there, so they know what they want, and you can never underestimate Rachel. She knows how to ride a bike and she can ride one fast, so she's always a big threat, yeah.
It is pretty much as simple as that. And for you, Greg, I was down in your pit earlier in this week, and a lot of Luca and that was saying it's nice this year because you haven't been caught up in all this, 279 setup, this new wheel size. You're still on the same bike you were last year. Is that a big advantage for you coming in? One less thing to worry about?
I would have liked to have thought so, but it doesn't seem it.
How close is he to not making it now? I think you're all right, about 55th at the moment, so you should be all right.
No, it's been really good. Last year we spent a lot of time trying to set this bike up, and now we're on a full-on production bike, production links. And we can focus on just getting the bike fast, and which we did in testing. And I think we had a great pre-season testing and training. And I think we've done what we need to do coming into the season.
What sort of testing, what really takes up your time when you're testing a downhill bike for a while? Because I guess it's quite hard to really replicate a World Cup track, isn't it?
It is, and especially in February, there's not a lot of World Cup tracks open. It's a lot of snow around. So mainly just suspension, tyres, a few bits and bobs, but those are the key things, suspension and tyres. And now that we've got a bike that, we've decided on a linkage to use, and going back and forth from an air shock to a coil shock and stuff like that, that was the finer tuning we did.
Was that okay?
On another note, you have your own downhill racing series now in South Africa. Is that taking some focus away from racing, or is that no problem at all?
No, we've been running the series for about 15 years now. So it started way back when my parents had the bike shop, and we just felt as we have a bike shop in the family that we need to support gravity racing. So we started a series, or sponsored the series from probably 15, 16 years ago. And now we do enduro and downhill and the whole lot.
Perfect. I know you've been away to sunnier climes. I've seen some of your videos. Did you spend the winter in North Wales, Tahnee, or did you get away and go testing somewhere else?
Mostly, yeah. I didn't really get away this winter. I managed to go to Crankworks, but it's just so hard to get your bike set up exactly how you want it for World Cups. It's just a different ball game. As soon as you get here, it's just your mindset's different. I know that I can't get into that mindset until I'm here. So.
And I'm right in thinking, right, that earlier this week you made kind of a breakthrough. You were really happy that you might have found what you were looking for bike setup wise.
Yeah, it was a bit late, but as you saw at the National a couple of weeks ago, I was well off the pace, and it felt weird because I was pushing so hard, and I was really trying, but I just felt like my bike wasn't able to kind of come with me. So that's why I was here at the IXS the other week, and yeah, I just finally nailed it, and I was like, this feels like my bike. It's not alien to me anymore. So yeah, it was good.
all came right at the end.
Yeah.
And I mean, often I think people think it's specific things when you're trying to set up a bike, but very often it's like a feel, isn't it? You just want everything to feel right. Greg's been struggling with it today a little bit, I think, it's fair to say.
Right, felt really damn good for a change.
Is he qualified? Do we know? We need to keep an eye on this. Okay, let's have some social media questions that we've had in. To you, Greg, I think, take your mind off the rather tricky situation behind us. How do you approach practice in the knowledge that weather might totally change the track? Do you have alternate line choices in mind if the rain does come down?
Oh, for sure. You're always trying to see it, look for a line, especially where it's rooty or rocky, that the rocks and roots are facing the right direction and that you can kind of push off and get a bit of grip. That's probably the main thing you're looking at. Besides that, it's kind of hard because yesterday, I was just waiting, expecting it to rain harder today, and even, last night going, well, maybe I need to just step it up and practice hard this morning so I have a good qualifier, and then it rained just before the quali, so it was kind of tricky, but it was the same for everyone, and we changed we did a tire change. I went to a little bit more aggressive front tire. Just for a bit of security down, and maybe felt a bit secure down the bottom and just ended up spilling. So it happens.
Yeah, it does. It certainly does. I mean, here's another one for you. Which track, Kate, I'll ask you this. And actually, I'll ask Tahnee because you haven't done everything yet. What track are you most looking forward to this year?
Probably Mont St Anne. I love a good challenge, and I feel like every year it just kind of, I'm always as scared of it as I was the first time I went there. So I love that feeling for sure.
Yeah, it's a good wide open track, isn't it? Kate, one for you?
Andorra for me, I think. Just gets so steep, just hang off it.
Yeah.
Brakes off, brakes on.
Okay. Another quick question. So you're on a 29-inch wheels, Greg, front and back. Has that been the single biggest switch in the sport over recent years, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's definitely made the bikes progress a little more. It's not necessarily the size of the wheels, but trying to get those big wheels to fit in a downhill bike, you've got to stretch the bike out. So I think wheelbase has been more significant than wheel change. I mean, the wheelbase. As a tall rider,
did you really, for the first time I've heard you say you got on a 29-inch bike, and clearly looking at that picture of you from 2010, it might well be the first bike that ever fitted you.
If you take that same bike and stretch it out to try and fit 29-inch wheels and road with a smaller wheel, it's going to fit you better anyway. Yeah. So I think it's more the wheelbase has grown a lot more than just the tyre change.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that a little bit more. Well, we've talked about some of the teams here this weekend, but I think it's time I introduced our own team. Cloudy, of course, many of you know, but also joining me on Red Bull TV all summer are Rick and Bree.
Thanks, Rob. This year I'll be resuming my position down here in the hot seat and in the pits, reporting back on all the chaos as it arrives in around me. I think this year I'm really looking forward to seeing how Tahnee and Rachel, how that battle develops, and also how a fully fit Aaron deals with a problem like Almarie Piron. I'm nice and comfortable here, but one person who may be slightly more exposed to the elements is Bree.
While Rick's got his luxurious position at the finish line, I'll be the one trekking up the top of the mountain to bring you all of the news and updates before the riders drop in. The French dominated last season, and I'm looking forward to seeing who will win this crucial first stop to have the confidence for the rest of the season. The riders are excited, and I'm excited for the first World Cup stop here at this legendary venue.
Well, a few cheers behind us. Greg more nervously looking on. I think someone else might have qualified. We will really try and keep an eye on that. Right, let's have another social media question. Greg, for you, you're one of the most successful racers in history, the most successful World Cup racer of all time, have to say. But you're also one of the oldest here. Hopefully that's not going to come. Yeah, but there is that. In the balance of things, does the extra experience outweigh the ageing experience? And we'll forget about this, mismatch of a day you've had here so far.
I haven't quite felt the ageing experience yet, but maybe the extra experience has maybe overplayed a bit because you're too cautious about things. I think sometimes you need to just switch off and just rail stuff in the mud, and maybe that's been my downfall. Every time there's a wet qualifier, I just kind of play it safe and instead of having a full-on go at it. Obviously on the final it's a bit different, but maybe I need to just wipe some of that experience out of it and just start it fresh.
Yeah.
Were you here at the first one in '99?
I was, yeah. Yeah, I've been here. I haven't raced all of them, but I've been to all of them.
So that was a race between the three of us. Well, obviously
could have been.
I was fifth. I was definitely back in 15th. You've never been here before, Tahnee, or UK, right? I mean, I think we can talk about the track. It's epic, isn't it?
I love it, yeah. It's just like home as well, like all the new Lomi sections, and it's pretty short.
Yeah, it is short.
Yeah, it is pretty
it's not
short.
Short when you walk it, actually, but the speed you're going down there, it's a fast one,
It
isn't
doesn't feel like
it?
it's short when you're riding it either. Like, it's pretty physical, probably one of the most physical ones.
Is it really?
I think so. There's so much pumping.
Yeah.
So your legs are on fire. I've only got little legs, so I work my arms a lot more.
Yeah. And I guess you're enjoying it, Kate. Plenty of hits down there for you. And it is, I know when I walked it, I couldn't help but see all these, huge compressions you got to hit.
Yeah, it's pretty savage. My ankle's actually done well to hold up. I was quite scared because I felt my ankle. Yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
Nice track.
What are your hopes in this first year in Elite?
To stay alive. And
well, that's always good.
On. Yeah, just take it as it comes. I don't really have any expectations.
Yeah.
Just see how I get on.
See how fast you can go.
Yeah, exactly.
You're actually in 58th at the moment, I've just been told.
I've never had a heart attack yet.
Now leave that to me. That's my department. So, well, we're going to wrap things up for this first half now. Thank you all for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Greg, you can go and sweat over there in private,
guys.
not in public. We will be back after a short break. I'll leave you now with some more thoughts from the racers as we continue this build-up to this 2019 season.
I'm Laurie Greenland, I'm 22 years old and I ride for the MS Mondraker team. Definitely having the most fun on my bike I've had in a long time, and to have that mindset of just going for the win now is it's exciting.
I'm Rachel Atherton, I'm 31 years old and I ride for Atherton bikes. The track in Maribor was incredible, really natural, really beautiful place, really nice dirt, lots of roots, and it's really got everything, a big gnarly rock garden in the middle, so I'd say it's the perfect racetrack for a mountain biker.
My name is Maribor, I'm 23 and I ride for Contender Valno. I just try to be more focused on what I do. The fun is the same. I want to go as fast as I can. So yeah, I just try to stay on my bike and have fun.
Monica Hrasnik, 25, Drval AM. I'm very happy with the first race here in Slovenia because they watch me, all family and friends, fans. Will be more pressure.
Troy Brosnan, Canyon Factory Racing, 25. My first ever World Cup was 2010 here in Maribor, so I have been looking forward to this track a lot.
Tracy Henna, 30 years old, Polygon UR team.
I've only won 2 World Cups in my life, and I would just love to win a World Cup. Like, that's always a goal, and just want to stand on the top. Give me the top step. It's definitely the goal.
I'm Loic Bruni, I'm 24 years old and I'm riding for Team Specialized Gravity. The World Cup overall I've never been able to do insanely well. My best result was second in 15. And we'll see, but for sure the overall is making me dream.
Tahnee Seagrave, 23 years old, and I ride for FMD Racing. I know that if I'm riding my best can be the best. So as long as I focus on just trying to get to my best and improve at every race, then I'll be happy with that.
You can do, mate. Yeah. Pop in. Huh?
You need my headset and mine.
You're in 60th. Greg's in 60th now. You're all right as long as no one else beats you. Oh my God. He's actually 60th at the moment, not protected. Oh my God, dude.
20 seconds.
Yeah, I saw it.
Hello, well done.
Can you hear it? Yeah, you'll have to. Well, welcome back, everyone. Well, we've managed to keep Greg here as well, and Tahnee. Greg is now in 60th place. If anyone else comes down and beats him, he's probably just going to leave anyway. So, yeah, Aaron Gwin joins us, and Tracy Hanna as well. How are you, Tracy? How are you, Aaron? All right? And Simon, of course. Sorry, Si. From the UCI, we've got Simon Burney in the middle as well. So, yeah, Greg's on the bubble. Aaron, how was your qualifying run?
Mine was pretty good. It was, yeah, I mean, the weather changed last second, so you kind of, for me, I was just trying to avoid the big one, like the big crash or the big mistake, and just kind of have a steady one down. But it's, when you practice in the dry and then race like this, it happens every year, but it's, I haven't ridden mud since France last year at the World Cup, so steep learning curve, you got to make it happen.
Yeah, it's all right though, isn't it, being a Californian sometimes, hey? Yeah. Despite a lack of mud riding, it could be worse. You haven't built up a
fear, you just kind of go for it.
Here's your run here, look.
That was one of the bigger mistakes there.
Yeah, we saw
I made
that.
a few, but stayed off the ground, it was good.
Did you change tyres for this one, Aaron, before that, when that rain come down or not? Look how hard you're having to pull for that.
Yeah, I kind of messed up my shift coming out of that corner, and so it was a bit more effort. But no, we're running those Kinda Hellcat tires, and they've been perfect for this weekend. I think we kind of, yeah, we had the perfect tire for the conditions for sure.
Well, I've got some breaking news. Sorry to interrupt, but I don't know even how to tell you, mate, but I don't think you're...
no, I think I'm out.
You're out, mate. Yeah, sorry to hear that. That's a bummer, mate, that is. I was looking forward to seeing you race tomorrow,
racing,
dude. It is racing. And you'll be back at the next one, right?
Although I've got no option.
It's Fort William next, isn't it?
Fort William, yeah.
You do all right there, mate, normally, so... Keep your spirits high anyway for at least the next 20 minutes. Oh, God, what a shame. Absolutely gutted for you, yeah. So, where am I going to go with... sorry, Aaron. Aaron, you got a new team this year, new bike. Has that been all right for you? I mean, we've seen you come out and win on a new bike in the past, at Lord, especially on the YT. It can be done. Can you do it again?
For sure, yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's I would like it to be dry here this week, and I was feeling really good yesterday and this morning in practice. That bike, that new Intense bike works so good, especially, I've just been excited. We came here a little bit early last week, and it's the first kind of real proper rough track I've got it on, and that bike just works so good when the track gets rough. So, yeah, man, it's been a lot of work with the whole team and all the sponsors that came together to put this new program together, but we're here now. All the boys are in for tomorrow, and everybody's safe, so I'm real happy as a rider and a team owner right now. It's kind of a proud moment.
Yeah, that's right. A lot going on, but it always seems to work for you. Trace, fastest qualifier, you are actually officially leading the World Cup at the moment. That must feel all right. You obviously had a good run down there.
Yeah, no, I had a really good run. It was a pretty weird ceremony at the finish. I had to get the jersey and...
Yeah, because now we're getting it after
Yeah, it was
qualifying,
weird.
right? Yeah.
We didn't know. We were just chilling. I had my legs up at the pits. And they're like, yeah, Dad, you got to get to the finish. And I was like, what for?
Here is your qualifying run.
Oh, yeah, the top corners weren't
What are you
great.
doing wheel sizes this year? Because has Mick gone? He's gone mixed, hasn't he? 29
Yeah,
and
he's got
27.
29. Yeah, I just kept 27. I always hit my ass on the tyre as it is. So
Yeah.
Not ideal.
But this track, Trace, what's it like? Is it
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a good time, and I just found over the week like you just had to, go faster and faster and just put your suspension harder and harder. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be super sick tomorrow because I'm kind of excited for it to be a bit wild, and it was pretty wild in the dry, and now we've got a whole new scenario and a whole nother race tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's hope the weather holds out, or at least place fair in the final. So it's great to see some new venues in there this year. UCI have been hard at work. Snowshoe is brand new. Leger, of course, we've been to in the past, but a good mix, I think, this year's World Cup calendar of some classic tracks, some natural tracks. I mean, we've got a bit of everything in there. Leergang as well.
Yeah, and it took a long time to figure it all out. We were waiting for new contracts with, various partners, and the Red Bull TV guys needed a new agreement. Once we got that in place, then we could go, we could find the calendar. And I think for this year and next year, we've got some really exciting new venues. Next year, it's all change again. We go back to Lozinge, we go to Lausa in Portugal. Like you said, this year, Snowshoe. So, yeah, it's good. It's a good mix.
Yeah, it's been really good. Lausa in Portugal, of course. I think that's a lot of the pre-season tests. Did you race in Lausa this year or not? In Portugal,
No, I didn't race there.
it's
No, I
another
just
really
did some
good track.
testing. Yeah, it is a really good track, proper downhill.
Yeah. Well, it's a big change this year. One thing that won't go away in recent times is the wheel size debate. After forever being with 26-inch wheels, we then saw a few years ago with the change to 27.5 of diameter, and then more recently to 29-inch. It's always a bit of a debacle with teams trying to keep up, and now this always revolving and evolving story has taken yet another turn.
So the new rule is the two wheels on the bike don't have to be the same size. It came at the request of the teams. So I think some of the manufacturers that work with the teams were interested in developing new technologies, especially with enduro coming in, and I think they feel that some of the bikes with alternate wheel sizes could be an advantage for that.
You get the big advantage with the rollover on the front with the big wheel, and then I still get the agility on the back, and I like to get over the back of the bike a lot. And I aren't the tallest rider, I run my seat really low, and we were struggling a little bit with that with the 29er, but we seem to have found a good place with the 27.5 in the rear.
Just the wheel size really, it doesn't really matter if it's going to make you ride faster, and obviously most guys' bikes don't really work properly, I guess, so they try and make it work with the 29er on the front, so they have to do it that way. So if it's 29 all around, then you know it's a good machine, so go buy that bike.
Downhill's always been the testing ground for new equipment and new technology, so I think it's something that, if they embrace it, we'll see it. If they're not bothered and they're quite happy on two wheels the same size, then it'll stay as is.
I'm happy I could actually keep the 27.5 wheel on the back, even though we have the 29 on front, but it's actually really good. Like, you have the good grip of the front, like it's kind of a mix, and the thing that was really important for me was keeping the bike fun and dynamic and just quick,
Personally, I don't think wheel size really matters. With downhill, you've got a whole week to get the maximum amount of speed out of the track, and I think if you throw down the perfect run, your perfect run on either wheel size, you'll probably arrive at the finish line at the same time. At the end of the day, if you're the fastest guy on the track, you're going to win the race, regardless of what equipment you're on.
Trace, was there any temptation for you to try the bigger front wheel?
That's a negative. I'm a bit, like I said before, I really struggle to get, like, I'm quite an aggressive rider and I like to be over the back of the bike, like when it's really steep. And I mean, my pants have got tire marks on it already, so if I went to 29, it'll be a bit of a struggle being a shorter rider.
Yeah, so it was an easy decision for you.
Yep.
Tahnee, did you think about trying that bigger front wheel now, or have you just made your decision and stuck to it?
Didn't even think about it. I think I'm pretty comfortable at the minute with the bike, and I think it's a good size for my size. So I think it would just mess with my head if I was to try and go bigger when I've actually found a bike that works pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice that you can make that decision and stick to it. So I'm wondering, where did that rule change come from, and how come that rule was in place in the first place?
Well, I think traditionally cycling a bike in the UCI history has always had two wheels the same. You know, maybe 20, 30 years ago, there were some time trial bikes on the road that had big wheels, small wheels, and I think they tried to move away from that. And I think the rule just embraced every cycling discipline, and it didn't really look specifically at mountain bike. And I think a couple of years ago, teams started asking, or manufacturers started asking, if it was possible to look at that rule. And it's just taken a couple of years to kind of see if it's going to be embraced and if it's going to work, and then for us to make that rule change last year. But it came at the request of the teams and the manufacturers, and it's been a good challenge to really push a rule that's so established at the UCI. A bike has got two wheels the same size.
Was it easy to get it changed?
No, it wasn't, honestly. But we kind of kept kicking away at them, and eventually got it done. So
it's nice to see them moving with the times, because it's I think it's only a good thing now. It opens it up to the smaller riders as well, the 29, because a lot of it is about that big back wheel hitting you up the backside. I know you're on 29 front and back. Is it something you've thought about playing with or not?
Yeah, I mean, we've thought about it. I've got a Taser at home, an e-bike that has a split wheel size on it, and I thought it was going to feel kind of funky, but when I got on it, it felt super normal straight away. So I mean, motocross has done it for a long time, and it seems like there's pros and cons. For me, I'm really comfortable on the 29 front and rear. But there's so many variables there with what types of trails you ride, what your riding style is, what your height is.
Yeah.
There's so many things. I don't think there's the perfect answer for everyone. I think everybody's got to find what works for them.
Have you decided what frame size you're riding yet? This is the big gossip on the internet at the moment. Apparently, speaking to Jeff, though, you can seamlessly move between large and extra large.
Yeah, we've been going back between a large and extra large for months now, so I can be straight up to speed in a run on either bike.
Can you?
Yeah, I was riding the large a lot last week at the National here, and I was like, okay, the large is working great. Like, I'm done switching, we're good. And then 2 practice runs from the end, I was like, I'm going to jump on the XL for one more run just to cross it out of my mind and forget about it. And I got on it, and I was like, man, it's good. Like, it's really good in some spots. So it's yeah, I've been going back and forth. I think for the World Cups, I'll end up on the extra large a lot. It just gives me a little bit more room to move in the cockpit. It is a little bit harder to keep the weight on the front wheel, so I lose the front end a little bit more on the big bike, but I think the benefits make up for it for the most part. So I might go back and forth a little bit, but this weekend we're good on the XL.
It won't be slowing you down anyway by the sounds of it. Greg, I suppose we may be looking at wheel sizes. You might be after today. You're going to have a 26-inch wheel bike in for William?
It might help me. It might help me. No, I think it's we made our minds up 2 years ago now, and it's been good for us. I mean, being so tall, it definitely makes a difference for us. Loris is maybe not as tall as me, but he feels comfortable on the 29, so front and rear.
Yeah, good. Okay. Well, you won't like this. Let's have a look at the standings from that qualifier we've just had here this afternoon then, at round 1. It's not actually finished yet. It's Mark Wallace, though, who is looking likely to be the fastest qualifier. Aaron, just 1.8 back. Not bad. You have a good run down there then. We saw you make a few mistakes at the bottom, so you got some time in hand, I guess, to make up. But Mark Wallace, he's good in the mud.
He did, man. He threw it down. I think he's had a couple pretty good runs in the mud, and the guys were practicing with him up near his house a few weeks ago and said he was riding really good in similar conditions. So, yeah, it wasn't really too much of a surprise for me. I think, yeah, like I said, I was just trying to avoid the big mistake, get down, get decent points, and kind of keep building for tomorrow. The track was, I don't know if I've ever ridden a track that was so kind of hit or miss. Like, you'd hit a couple corners and it felt just like practice, and you'd kind of kick yourself to go faster, and the very next turn would be out in the open and it'd be super slippery. So it was really hard to kind of figure out the game plan.
Yeah.
You were constantly adjusting, but yeah, happy to get down and not have any crashes and just kind of be ready for tomorrow.
It might almost be a lot easier. Well, it can only be really easier for everyone tomorrow because, you've only practiced in the dry and now it's got wet. Where would the fastest qualifier, Tracy, at Hannah over there, where do you think this one will be won or lost tomorrow?
I think pretty much Aaron summed it up in the sense that you have to ride smart and you can't really hesitate too much because you're still going to lose quite a lot of speed. I mean, wet or dry, it's like a track that has a lot of rhythm and you need to keep your flow from top to bottom, and I think whether it's wet or dry, you kind of need to not be hesitating but not overdoing it in any section. So
yeah. Okay, cool. Well, there's been lots of debate and talking points here today already, but two people that we haven't heard much from yet are the World Cup winners from last year. Here they are.
It was an insane year. I'm just proud of it. I'm happy about it. So, yeah, just insane.
Oh yeah, 2018. It's nice to look back on it and think about all the kind of the wins and winning the World Championships at the end of the year was probably, for me, the icing on the cake.
The winter was pretty hard because, you know, you have the time to think about everything. So my mentality didn't change so much. I just try to be more focused on what I do, stay on my bike, but the fun is the same. I want to go fast as I can.
I've done the first British race, which went incredibly well. I think I beat Tahnee by about 6 seconds. So, you know, that was really confidence giving. It meant that all those months of developing the new bike had paid off and it was up to speed already.
Right now, I'm happy to be back in the pits and soon back on the bike to race. So, yeah, I'm happy.
You know, it's been a long off season and I just can't wait to get out on the racetrack.
Well, some fighting talk there. What sort of a competitor is Rachel to you? I mean, you've really been ding-donging over the last couple of seasons. And you won 3 races last year and the year before. I mean, I could say you're pretty unlucky not to have taken an overall World Cup title yet.
Yeah, we've spoken about it a lot. It's quite funny because I've never actually got hold of the #1 plate. So I've won the most races in the past 2 years. So it's been annoying, but I kind of like it. It's a chase and I love a chase. But Rachel, for sure, I looked up to Rachel when I was younger and like she was my absolute hero, and it's really weird for me to come in the same environment and be there and fighting for the top spot. It's almost hard to accept it yourself because you've looked at it for so long.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, she's so competitive, like, and she is where she is because of how competitive she is.
She's incredibly determined, isn't she?
Yeah, she is, and she's a great competitor, and I have a lot of respect for her. But as she said before, you know, she can't be friends with her competitors. Well, not me. So I don't know. It's a great fight, and I love the fight. And I have a lot of respect for her. So I love it.
That respect is very apparent between you, and actually, it doesn't really surprise me that you're not best friends. You know what I mean? You're out there bar to bar.
I think it might annoy her because I'm super like chatty. I love it. Like I love like just messing around and you know I get on with all the boys and I just like being there in the moment and I think I'm just maybe a bit too full on sometimes.
Yeah, and racing her and beating her as well, of course. Trace, what do you make of Rachel as a competitor?
Yeah, I mean, she's been really hard to beat in my career, so. We're kind of similar age. So.
You've been going up against her a long time, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, we're similar age, so battling her has gone from like battling like her and Tahnee do to, hey, good run today, mate. Good luck, yeah, you too. You know, it's kind of like the competitive side between us has died off and we're just like, oh well, it's pretty scary, but we'll see you at the bottom.
Been doing it that long.
Yeah, it's not too, I don't get too much anxiety.
No.
Walking past her pits, or you know, we're pretty good friends now.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Within reason.
Managed to leave some of the racing behind now and again.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning we were very competitive. I can remember a moment when I raced her here. I think I was walking the track. No, it was Schladming. It was the World Cup I won in Schladming. And then the next weekend we came here and in walking she said, oh, I see you've been practicing Schladming, that's why you won. And I was like,
So there's a bit of psychological warfare. Does that still go on?
When we were younger.
Does the psychological side still...
It's funny to think about now.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't be bothered with that stuff now, I just ride, so.
Well, it's all racing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you don't race.
We're getting some truth out of Amira, anyway. What do you make out about Anne-Marie Piron then? I mean, 3 in a row last year, and of course France as well last year, winning 5 of 7 World Cups. Certainly, you know, back on top, weren't they?
For sure, yeah, they've been going really fast, man. it's been crazy. I think every year, Greg would know better than anybody, like there's always the next guy coming up and going fast and working hard, and sometimes they kind of almost come in like groups. They sort of all push each other, and they're racing at the nationals and all that stuff. We've got a pretty good young group, and back home in the States right now, they're all going real fast. So yeah, I mean, it keeps it exciting for sure, and those guys are riding really well and working hard, and it's it keeps the racing fun, man, and it's you got to kind of figure out a way to raise your game every year to stay with it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a man on screen there really get on a roll last year. What did you make of that? I mean, it does happen, doesn't it? We do see riders get on a bounce like that rarely, very rarely.
And it was impressive watching him last year. He had so much confidence, and he just carried that through, you know, even after a long break, and it was really impressive to watch.
Yeah. And he was 25th today. Do you think we're going to see more of the same from him this year, or is the pressure now on him? Because you've been in that position, Greg, you know, and you as well, of course, Aaron, with the target on your back. This year, for the first time, it's on Piron.
For sure, and it's not an easy position to be in. I mean, you come into the sport, he's had a great season last year, you won a whole bunch of races in a row, you have this long off-season break, and now it all kicks off again. And it's hard to maintain that confidence over the 6 months. So, everything's reset, and here we are today in the mud and rain and hard condition, and you know, it's 25th for him wouldn't have been acceptable last year, and so I don't know.
No, that's right. Do you see him as being one of your biggest competitors this year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got great speed, and it seems like he's doing a lot of things right. I think it seems like at every year there's always, I feel like, 10 or 12 guys that you're kind of waiting to see which one sort of stands above the rest. It seems like there's always a couple that end up kind of popping out as new guys. But yeah, I mean, in his position, it is different to go from being kind of the one chasing, as Tahnee said, to being the one that when you win a lot, you kind of set a bar at a certain level. And, you know, a second or third place is not as exciting as it used to be. And the fans start questioning, you know, if you're not on the podium, it's like, whoa, the train's coming off the tracks. Whereas when you start a top 10 is phenomenal at a World Cup. So it's a, man, there's a lot of different, you got to deal with a lot of stuff. For me, I like it. I like just being at the top and like bring the pressure, let's go. But it is difficult. There's challenges that surprise me along the way for sure.
Well, we're having a bit of a Greg Menard roast this afternoon. You know, you're only one. You're only one.
Insensitive, Aaron. It's starting to act like the women's field now. Come on.
You only need one more win to equal this man overall as well. What? I mean, you know, 21 World Cup wins is incredible, but I guess you'd be hoping to get that this year.
Yeah, I mean, geez, I would have liked to have won it. You know, like we both had rough years last year, so we weren't really able to go at it. And I think I've been one win off for years now. Every time I get one, he gets another one, and we just kind of keep doing the thing. So it's been fun, man.
Well, hoping you'll follow me into not qualifying for one. That might even things out as well.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So here are those overall World Cup standings, I think, are going to appear for us.
Or maybe not.
Okay, well, anyway, we've spoken... they're not going to appear. We've spoken a lot about the... Yes, they are. There you go. 21 to 20. Steve Peat, 17 wins to that man. Nico Vulio, the great Nico Vulio, 16 wins. Sam Hill, actually, who's another man that's won here in Maribor. No, did he win here in Maribor?
He's always been really fierce in Maribor, so I wouldn't surprise me if he
certainly had
hasn't
that. No, that's right. One year he crashed, didn't he, and still got up and finished 5th, if I remember, just at the end of that straight after the Rock Garden. Well, anyway, we've spoken plenty about last year's winners. As for this year, you can gaze it into your crystal ball with our new medal predictor game on redbull.com. Prizes are these new amazing Bluetooth headphones from Jabra, so get on there and see if you can beat me and Claudio. Let's have a look at my predictions. I've gone for a bit of a swerve bowl. Brooke MacDonald, I got there. He's been going well, actually, in the early season. Put you in second, though, Aaron, didn't I? Ahead of Amory. Look at that, eh?
You got it good today.
And sorry to Tracy and to Tahnee.
Sick burn. That's tough.
So, who would you go for as your top 3? Men and women.
Oh, man. You put me on the spot. Not even looked at the
in this company,
the track.
I have.
I know, yeah. God. Ah, man.
We can leave it if you want to leave it.
Yeah, I think I'd rather leave that one, actually. Yeah. I'm not digging myself into a big hole here.
Tracy, who would you go for?
Men or women?
Going for the women first. Who's gonna?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Just to really make it awkward. You can just do the men if you want. Should we just let you do the men? Yeah.
That'll be cool. Weather permitting, I think more than anything, I hope that Mark Wallace wins. Because, I don't know, I've got a soft spot for him, so. And then Oh, I don't know. I hope, one of the Aussie boys just whips it out and comes in a nice second place. Maybe Connor Fearon or someone.
Yeah, and it'd be nice, like you say, to see Mark win one, wouldn't it, if he can pull it?
Yeah. I mean, if he's feeling comfortable in these conditions and,
he's a charger.
The boys say he's riding well, it's going to be pretty wild tomorrow.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it is.
And then I know the Aussie guys, I mean, if they stay on their bike, they're pretty fast. So.
Tahnee, who are you going to go for?
It's so hard because obviously it's the first race. We have no idea what everyone's been up to. But I feel like Loic will give it a good go. I feel like dry conditions, Troy's looked pretty on it. Seen him at the IXS as well, that was pretty cool. But I feel like Loic can always step it up when he really needs to. So
yeah, he's a man for the big day. Greg, I suppose you are at least neutral now in this conversation.
I am, yeah.
Give me your top three.
Well, Mark Wallace has been quick all week. And, it didn't surprise me that he won today.
Didn't it?
No, he was, okay, when the rain came down, I thought it might change things, but in the dry, he was flying. So when you put it together in the rain, I think he's going to be a contender tomorrow for sure.
Okay.
I mean, you got Aaron here. I mean, Aaron's always going to be up there. There's Loic. Loris. Of course, Loris. He can easily do it. There's just too many. There's too many.
Want to have a punt at this?
Oh man!
You can put yourself in first place. It's acceptable.
Yeah.
You've won nearly every opening round for the last 5 years.
I hope to win.
You can do the women.
For sure, always. It's going to be interesting tomorrow because I think the weather's not done. I think the track is already quite a bit worse than when we rode it a few hours ago. So I think it's really going to be one of those races where there could be some upsets. I think maybe some crashes, some different things. So I'm hoping I can be consistent and be up there, but outside of that, man, I really don't know.
Okay, well, I hope you at home are feeling a little more committed. Please go to redbull.com and make those predictions. We've talked about the medal predictor, but there's one more game out there you need to know about. Whilst we bring you the best of action here in Slovenia, you can also join in at home with our first ever digital mountain bike competition, Bike Unchained 2 Virtual World Series. Over the course of 7 events, Bike Unchained 2 will be giving away 7 pole frame sets. Download the app for your chance to win. And finally, make sure you don't miss out on even more bike action. Check out the Bike channel on Red Bull TV, download the app for free and enjoy the best live events, films and shows. Sign up to download your favourite content and watch it offline, anywhere, anytime. And it's not just about the bikes here on Red Bull, there's plenty of other great sport on this platform. This weekend, here's Mike.
Hi guys, how you doing? Mike Chen here in Argentina for round 5 of the World Rally Championship. I hope you're having a blast in Maribor for round 1 of the UCI, but it's not just 2 wheels on Red Bull TV this weekend, plenty of 4-wheeled action as well. Join me tonight, 10 o'clock local time for all of today's best highlights. Don't miss it.
You like a bit of car driving, don't you? Bit of drifting. I went drifting.
I love a bit of drifting, yeah. I get into trouble though, so I've kind of got to keep
seen,
on the low.
yeah, that's right. I did see a big apology on your social media. Well, listen, I'm getting everyone in trouble here this afternoon. Let's wrap it up while we're still ahead. Thanks all very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Sorry you didn't qualify, Greg, but, joking aside, you're going to be back in Fort William. Of course you are, mate. Don't worry about it. It's just one of those, isn't it? Aaron, I look forward to seeing you race tomorrow. Tracy, fastest qualifier. You two are going to be head-to-head tomorrow. It's going to be good, eh? Looking forward to it. Well, thanks to all our guests. Thanks to you for watching at home. Be sure to join us tomorrow here live on Red Bull TV for the 2019 Mercedes-Benz UCI Downhill World Cup opener. It is going to be a fight. I'll leave you with pictures of the leading riders heading into race day. We'll see you tomorrow at 12:30 Central European time. Goodbye till then.